Everybody can see your dick in that Speedo. Get out of the restaurant. Put some pants on. Oh no, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it was a godsend the first summer I worked at Amigos and not the Pier, and I didn't have to hear a French Canadian fucking
All right, dude. So mics are hot, cameras are hot. So I guess there's nothing left to do. Hey, what's up? Nothing left to do but to welcome you to episode 4 of the Big Fat Tattoo Dad podcast. Yeah. Mike Reynolds, I'm so happy to have you here, man.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so I've known you for a long time. I mean, it's 6, 7, maybe 8 years at this point.
Roundabout, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always fun to have people on here who I've known for a long time, just to kind of like chronicleize, the changes that they've gone through. Like, I mean. No offense, but you're kind of a hick now. And when I first met you, man, you were probably like the prettiest scene kid around, right?
I was always a bit of a hick at heart. I just hit it more in those days, I guess.
Yeah.
I've embraced it more now these days.
I feel that, man, especially being a Southern boy. Like I was born in Florida, so enough beer gets into me, you'll start to hear it come out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But music's always been a super important part of my life. So I've definitely, your body kind of adapts to what the mind wants. Clearly. Yeah. Like you said, you hit it. Yeah. You stop hiding it, and then it all just kind of comes out more naturally.
Stop caring as much.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm definitely excited to have you here. I want to, you've been working downtown. How many years have you been working downtown now?
Portland, I mean, I've been around that side of Portland, if you will, since I was probably like going to Chem Free nights at Bingos when I was like 16. So probably like junior year of high school or so, and I knew vicarious a lot of the security guys that worked at the bars downtown, and then actually working straight up downtown was probably the past 4 years or so.
No kidding.
Straight up there, and I worked further north in like Auburn before then, and then down in Old Orchard. So.
Where'd you work in Auburn?
It was this little restaurant by day that at night hosted a DJ and had these hip hop nights, and it was a lot of Somalian immigrant or refugees and whatnot, primarily, and it got rowdy quite a few times. Yeah. It was right on the backside of the police station, so it's really weird how a lot of crazy shit happened down there, and then the police were right there and somehow never showed up. All these times that we had this wild shit go down.
Yeah, I feel like Lewiston, Auburn, though, is kind of the breeding ground for crazy shit.
It always has been for a while.
Yeah,
I think they're trying their hardest to get out from underneath it, but I don't know. It's
one of those things. Like you plant enough seeds, you're gonna grow a tree.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So I've never worked in a bar specifically, but in my younger years, I did plenty of stuff in food and beverage, and I worked plenty of restaurants. Downtown. Mm-hmm. The benefit to like my job versus yours, though, is working in a high-end restaurant. I'm getting out at about the time it starts to get crazy, where you're like, all right, I got to strap in for the next 3 hours because shit's getting crazy.
Yeah.
So, I was the guy that was, fucking making filet mignon at 9 p.m., closing down the kitchen at 11, and then just headbutting security guards.
Yeah.
So,
And probably at Amigos for a while.
Oh, for sure at Amigos. For sure at Amigos. I've gotten kicked out of there so many times, dude. I got kicked out of every bar that Mark owns.
It's a point of pride for some people to be like, oh, I actually fucked up that bad to get kicked out of Amigos. But then on the same token, we get so many people who get so butthurt, like, oh, you gotta let me in. It's like, man, like we're just a shitty little dive bar, like trying our hardest to like not be that shitty dive bar anymore. We've been since the 1980s, right. And like, why you? They're tripping so hard just because they were like, man, you're way too drunk to come in tonight.
Well, dude, it's a cult classic. Yeah. If a bar could be a movie, you would have a cult classic. I mean, there's again talking about demographics. I mean, you look at Amigos and it's like the old metalheads, the new metal. Like it's just. Granted, I don't know who else goes there because all I pay attention to is how many of my friends are there.
Fair enough.
And they're all fucking metalheads, and it's one of the few places where you can smoke like pretty close to being inside. Smoking out back, and like you guys have a heater there in the winter, and when I did smoke, I mean I vape whatever. I have a Juul now. When I smoked cigarettes, so I mean that was one of the only bars I go to because of that. But I remember talk about like crazy shit. working at Denny's, dude. When I was like 19, I worked the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift
Congress
at Denny's,
Street
dude.
Denny's?
Yes.
Oh, that's the battleground, baby.
Dude, a fucking battleground. And it was like they always like had some sense of security knowing that there was like a drug addicted, tattooed fucking male cook. And every other person in the restaurant was a female.
Yeah.
And nothing against females. There's plenty of females that could whip my fucking ass.
Mm-hmm.
But none of them worked there.
Yeah.
You know, so anytime any shit went down, it was like, okay, the waitress talks to them, then the manager on duty, which, who do you think that was? Has to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know? And if that didn't work, we couldn't call the police right away. We had to call FPS. And then FPS could call the police if they needed to.
Oh.
And I know you've seen them around
Yeah.
FPS. And the reason being was, I'm 29 now, so this is literally 10 years ago. The fucking rap around police, even back then, was so bad that Denny's policy was, please call somebody before you call the police because we don't need any crackheads getting shot in our fucking front lawn, you know? And, oh, man, I can't tell you how many times I saw, girls stabbing girls with butter knives. The first year I worked there, they made it a company policy because of Portland, Maine. They made it a company policy. I'm sure it probably happened a bunch of other places that they couldn't serve the actual hot skillet after 11 p.m. No one ever burned themselves with it, but they'd fucking beat people with it. Just
No doubt.
wild stuff.
I know a bunch of guys who, from not FPS, but a different security company who did a lot of the stuff downtown, would post up guys there from 10 to, whenever, 3, 4 in the morning, just for that reason.
Yeah.
Drunks would come in and just cause all kinds of issues.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a battleground. And I always say you don't go to Denny's, usually end up there. So there's a lot of people just ending up there at the end of the night. It was just the culmination of all the shitheads who got kicked out from everywhere else downtown and be like, oh, I need some greasy food.
Dude, it wasn't even convenient.
No.
It was far away.
Yeah.
Like Congress Street, the top of Congress is the top of the hill. The bottom of the hill is the waterfront. It's the end of the bars. And the other bottom of the hill, 2 miles away from the waterfront bars, is fucking Denny's. Like, bro, you paid $30 in taxi fees to be here.
Yeah.
Just go home.
Yeah, right? You're halfway there, bro.
Yeah. Anything in your freezer is better than anything you're going to fucking order at Denny's, dude. Especially when I was cooking.
Yeah,
it,
this time of night, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. My God. But I loved it, man. Like, working, Portland is in my opinion, is a person, and
Definitely has personality.
Yeah. The driving force, the bloodline, the lifeline, of that city is downtown, is the Old Port area. And dude, I love it. I love being down there. I've said plenty of times, like, I like drinking. I like being served drinks. I like meeting people at bars. Half the people I'm going to have on this show I've met at bars. And they're interesting
Fair
people.
enough.
Like, I've met artists and authors and tattoo artists. I met this lady that's been on 2 reality TV shows, at bars in Portland, Maine. And they live locally.
Yeah.
I love it.
Amigo's a good spot for that. A lot of strange fellows end up there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't think I'd invite a lot of them to my home.
No.
But some I definitely would,
Yeah. There's no in between.
No, there's not. Yeah, there's definitely not.
There's no dinner party folks that you'll have over once to see if they're cool. It's either like, oh yeah, no, let's go kick it, have some beers, or don't ever want to know where it is.
Yeah. So you've been at Amigos for 4 years.
Yeah, on and off. I started back there and for I don't know, a good 6 months or so, and then I went down to the Pier for a summer, thinking that was a better gig. Turned out to not be. Big surprise. And then been back. I think this is my 3rd winter straight back with Amigos. So
yeah,
kicking it over there.
Where were you working when you were? Can you say where you were working when you were in Old Orchard Beach?
I was on the Pier. I was working down there as assistant manager security.
Gotcha.
Running kind of should have been running the show a little bit, but I was to an extent, but didn't get paid as much as I should have probably.
Yeah,
I kept asking more and more. They started out with, manage the nightclub, and then it's like, cash these people out. And now you're gonna stay and do late night and walk the bags out, and it's like, all right, cool. I mean, you wanna pay me a little more, maybe?
Right?
Like, I'm here 50 hours a week.
I don't know why I thought that you also just shaved your beard. So
I
I
did not long ago, actually.
Oh, okay.
Earlier this year.
Oh, welp.
Yeah.
I did mine less than a week ago.
Okay.
Yeah. That, like the mustache photo on your Facebook, for some reason, I thought that was like you now.
Mm-mm.
And I was talking to Crystal about it. I was like, oh man, like I regretted it instantly because I probably had like 6-ish inches of growth. It was getting big, and but the masks, dude, like you get that fucking line, and
It's been savage for me.
Yeah, it was driving me nuts. So I was like, oh, just I'll trim it down. But now I trimmed it so short that the mask just pushes the hair into my fucking skin, and it's way worse. It's way worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you show up with a full beard, and I'm like, all right, I'm self-conscious again.
No, it's back. I like it till I can't have it again. So.
What will prevent you from being allowed to
trying
have
to
it?
rejoin the fire department. I did that once upon a time. So.
Oh, really?
Get back to that, so I got to be clean shaven.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You can have a mustache, okay?
Yeah. Obviously, I rock that. I look 12 without anything on my face. It's kind of weird.
I think I'm one of the only dudes in the world that when they cut their facial hair off, they look older. Yeah.
It's that jawline comes out.
No, it's the under the jaw line that comes out. That double chin,
Oh, come on in, sir.
Yeah. Dude, it's awful. It's like, where I work, I definitely have like a white collar job. You know what I mean? And so I wear, suit and tie to work every day. And, there's people that I'm dealing with that are twice my age that are calling me sir. And I'm just like, sometimes, it depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, flex, bitch. Other times I'm like, man, that makes me feel super old.
I'm sure it's mostly sarcastic when I do get it at the door, but I do get that plenty from early 20s. Thanks, sir. It's like, come on, man. I'm not that much older than you.
Yeah, right?
Or vice opposite, or quite the opposite, is they'll get all snooty about me. I can't believe you're IDing me. It's like, man, you were born in 96. Like,
Right.
get out of here.
Dude, what is the year now that you can, like, what's the minimum year?
99.
That's wild,
Today,
dude.
I know, it's weird.
That's so crazy. I remember when, like, it flipped from, when I, first started being able to buy my own cigarettes, when it flipped from 91 to 92, I was like, damn, people in 92 can buy, butts.
Yeah.
And now it's like, we're rolling into 2021, so, like, a New Year's baby born in 2000 can buy fucking cigarettes now, man. Like, I never thought that I'd feel old.
It's weird. It's a weird concept.
Yeah.
Of being like, oh, I remember then, and now someone can buy booze or cigarettes. Well, cigarettes now, I think you'd be 21 for that shit now.
Yep.
Is that just Portland or everywhere?
To be honest, I don't know. I know it's at least Portland. It might be.
Always just Portland.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no shit. It must be weird for you, too, like, going to shows and seeing kids that are, like, a year or two younger than you that, a year or two later, you're IDing them.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
No, most definitely.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them, too, It's not just like it's a couple. It's like it's hundreds.
Yeah. Or seeing kids that I've watched shows back in the day come into the bars. Or seeing kids that I've just turned 21 or had to reject at the bar, going out and, obviously pre-COVID, but going out and, like, going on tour and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's always a trip for me.
Yeah.
A lot of the musicians I listen to these days be like, oh, wow, I'm, like, 4 years these kids senior. That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, Brandon Embleton, the new project that he's in, dude, they're all, like, super young. They're all, like, early 20s.
What's that
Katahdin?
project? Oh, Katahdin,
Yeah.
Semi-new, reformed.
Yeah, rebranded, reformed, whatever it is, yeah. But, like, Max Kelkins, he's super young. Brandon is super young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang kids.
I know. So you've been downtown 4 years. You were doing all ages shit. I actually never went to an all ages show there.
Really?
I wanted to go a couple of times and never did. Mm-hmm. And then I remember seeing like all my friends like covered it, like wearing white t-shirts and shit, and, like covered in paint and stuff. And I was like, yeah, dude, you ruined a shirt and you're sober.
Yeah, it was a weird few years where that was huge, and the people that I was with, they had a place up in Auburn that they did shows there, and then they also had a traveling entertainment DJ company that they went and did like events for colleges, so they'd like host the homecomings or spring carnivals or whatever, all that kind of stuff. And they didn't do the paint on the road typically, but they had like CO2 cannons, and like I got hired on as their hype man, and I was just there to like entertain the crowd while they were busy doing the DJ and light show. And that was like, I started out going to them in Portland, got involved with going out and doing them elsewhere in Auburn, and then it kind of like died off because it is a pain in the ass to clean up all that paint and foam.
Yeah. And there's got to be like a huge liability with that too.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a room full of people under 21. It only takes one dude with a pocket full of fucking ecstasy to
or anything,
ruin a whole room,
It's crazy. And it was like in this strip mall, this one spot, the event center there is this strip mall just behind the flagship cinemas.
Where is that? What town?
That was in Auburn.
Oh, okay.
That was in Auburn. It has Sky Event Center.
Actually, I have no idea where that is.
Yeah.
Huh. There's only like 3 things I know about in Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
There's like that Fun Z place, which, you know, I have kids now, so I know about that spot. And then obviously Sapphire, which was Club Texas, which was fucking dope.
Yeah. I keep meaning to get a hold of the owner. I know the owner and his wife who owned that Sapphire before its last downfall. I was curious as to what happened. I keep seeing vague posts about it on social media. Be like, oh, a few people hadn't ruined it. I'm like, well, what happened? I thought you guys had a good thing going.
Yeah.
I know it's a tough crowd up that way for that kind of a venue, but that was actually when it was still Club Texas. That's one of my crazier early security days. So I was working at another bar, the restaurant that turned to Rap Club at night, and across town, and with another couple guys, and we got out early, and they were doing a rap night over at Club Texas. So me and this other guy, we cruised over, and as we show up, one of my security guards comes ass backwards out the door with like 3-4 guys on him, a huge brawl, getting all torn up, tearing people apart. We had state police, Lewiston, Auburn, county sheriff, all showed up. We had like 2 guys get tased, handful of people got arrested. It was ridiculous. Oh my God, guys are getting beaten up. I'm helping cops arrest people, holding them down. That was a shit show for the ages for that one. Yeah. And that was obviously a kind of a theme over at Club Texas at that time, as you well know.
You know, I didn't know that the bartender was married to the owner. Mm-hmm. And I used to hit on her like aggressively.
She's got an OnlyFans now.
Get the fuck out of
You're
here.
not lying. No lie. He's down with it. They're all about it. As you can imagine.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna need that link.
Jamie, pull that shit up.
Dude, that's crazy. No shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like so obviously
her and everybody else, like, let's be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah. And I don't hate on it.
No, not at all.
You know?
Get it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you were at, plenty of shows that I played there, but I'd be like on stage, like between songs, and she's right there at the bar, and I would be, fucking harassing her. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, shows there got wild, dude. I miss that place so much.
We went to a couple of the hardcore shows there. It was the Wyndham Vet Center. That was always a spot.
Actually, if we go up here for just a moment.
We got a Fight Center pick?
No, dude. That's fucking Club Texas right there.
Yeah, that's the one.
And we got a little Johnny Bresnahan. We got Apollo Simmons.
Oh, yeah, Apollo.
Who else we got? We got
Connor's got to be in
me
there
kissing
somewhere.
Mike. I went through a bunch of these photos, and I did see... Connor was on stage at one point.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah. And Lucas Montoya was on stage. Mm-hmm. There was one where fucking Mako was on my shoulders in the middle of the crowd. Just lit shit.
Oh, Mako, me boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to get him up here. I'd like to get him on an episode.
Absolutely. That'd be a trip.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a riot. So what is this? What is this Hick Mike?
The Hick Mike. That one there... What's that one? I believe that one is a hand canvas back. That was out in North Dakota. My dad and I, a trip he's been going on for a few years, but we went out duck hunting and whatnot, and that was just one of the birds I got that week that I'd never shot, and they don't come around here a lot, so it was kind of special, and it was a good time out there. It's a lot fucking colder than it was supposed to be, so we didn't have a ton of places to go, but we still had a good time. The guys we were with were from Alabama. They have a lottery to shoot tundra swans, so they got their swans while we were out there. It was a good time.
This was recently too, right?
Yeah.
This picture
earlier
specifically.
This month, yeah.
Oh,
I got back
this month.
Yeah, I got back the 1st of November.
Because I feel like when I hit you up, you were there.
They're about to go out. Yeah.
Yeah. No shit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And was this the first one you said your dad's been going for a couple of years? Is this the first one that you went on?
Yeah, it was the first time I'd been out, and it was cool. And even though it was kind of a subprime year as far as like the birds being around, it was still more than anything I'd seen around here. And we've been going duck hunting around this area, obviously, since we've lived here. So
no doubt, dude. I did not get in the woods once this year.
No.
Nope. Not the entire year.
Went out a few times deer hunting, but didn't see a damn thing.
Yeah.
I think the spot we were at was kind of bunk.
Dude, I have like acres of land in Jonesboro, up in Washington County, and I told my oldest son like a bunch of times, like, dude, we're gonna go, and we just like never did.
It's hard.
He's not very interested in getting up at 4 a.m., and I don't know. Like if we could like walk out the back door and hunt, he'd be all about it. You know,
Oh,
he'd
yeah.
be out there like all day instead of Fortnite. You know, he'd be playing Duck Hunter.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's why I like bird hunting more than like deer hunting. It's just so much effort. You got to sit around in the woods.
Yeah.
And like, oh, maybe something's gonna walk by.
I mean, I definitely feel like Bob Lee Swagger when I'm out there, you know, and I got a ghillie suit and all that shit.
Oh,
Like,
there you
I'm
go.
so dramatic about it. Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. You know, I've got a 30-06 that I've got sighted out to like minimum 400 yards. Like that's where my sighting is. Anything under, and I've never killed
It's
something
the
that
main.
far away.
It's the main woods. Where are you gonna get a shot that far
Dude,
away,
I know.
bro?
It's so excessive.
100 yards. That's
Yeah.
all you need.
Yeah, I know. And I've got iron sights at a 45. So I've one, I've never killed a deer with that rifle.
Mm-hmm.
2, I've never killed anything at 400 yards. You know, and 3, I don't think I want to shoot a 30-06 at a 45-degree cant anyway. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that would
You know,
suck.
it's gonna dig. it's gonna leave a mark on the
Yeah.
inside of my shoulder.
You don't see that quite right. It's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah, yeah, dude, it's wild. So, what have you been doing? I mean, have you found any additional work during like this whole COVID situation? I mean, I know like restaurants and bars like keep opening and closing and opening and
Yeah.
closing, and the hours keep changing. I mean, have you had to do other stuff to stay afloat?
Yeah, I've been working with my old man. He does taxidermy, so I've been helping him out doing that.
Mhm.
And, just try and kind of keep me afloat a little bit. And it's like a lot of people are fighting with the state to get unemployment, so
Yeah.
that's been a trip. And we had already on a voluntary shutdown that got pushed to the 1st of December, and that was going to be our new open date. But the 9 p.m. curfew is in effect until the 6th of December currently. So that right now, the 8th of December is our soft reopen date. We'll see what happens. I don't hold high hopes that Janet's going to let us stay open.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like,
Extend the curfew, or I think she might just say, no more indoor dining, go back to takeout, and we just don't really have a volume of customers worth doing that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, no offense, to your spot. I obviously hold it very high regard, but I don't go there to eat.
no.
And if
The menu is pretty stellar for a Mexican joint in Portland, Maine, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I just wish it were branded more that way. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like for travelers, like non-locals, like if you're jumping on Google and looking for that, like you'll find it, but I don't have a single friend that
No.
has ever gone there for food.
there's a lot of people who don't know we have even an upstairs, like a dining room.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an upstairs?
I didn't. So for the longest time, I didn't realize that upstairs was for a dining room. I thought
Yeah.
it was because downstairs was packed.
Yeah.
Or to find a
Overflow.
find a safer place to piss.
Yeah. No, I mean, we had the big front deck out on Dana Street that was closed all summer, so that was a saving grace.
Yep.
We had a ton of tourist traffic, so that kind of kept us afloat. That went up, beginning of the month, so that kind of killed that, and with limited capacity inside versus what we have available out back, and we were doing all right for a little while, but like I said, just kind of voluntary shutdown because of the spikes that were in town, and
Yeah.
now I'm just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
But not really holding my breath about anything. The way things have been going.
I think we're all kind of in that same boat, and it personally, I'm super grateful. Like it's not affected me monetarily. My job, it's just wasn't affected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just gotta wear a mask and sanitize more or less, go about business as usual.
Yeah, I mean, most of what I do is internet based anyway.
Fair enough.
People. I've been kind of innovative in my position for a long time. The auto industry is obviously not very technologically driven.
Yeah.
It's super old school. So the fact that I've been doing like internet sales for so long, it just fit. Like people are like,
Yeah.
I can't come to your dealership and I have to buy this car. It's like, yeah, that's no issue.
There you go. We got the car. Come get it.
Exactly. Yeah. I drop them off in most cases.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Screw the test drive.
Yeah. I mean, when you're buying a new car, what the fuck do you need to test? Especially when the car's $70 grand. Like
Fair enough. Yeah.
everything's okay.
You're going to drop
you
that
know.
kind of cash on a car. Yeah.
Yeah. But I have a lot of friends that that were affected. I have a lot of friends that have done business with us that were affected. I have a lot of friends that own bars and restaurants downtown that were affected, and it's just you try to like support your friends. Hunt and Alpine Club, Market Street East, just to name a couple. That they drive cars that I sell, and it's like. I can only buy lunch there so many times.
Yeah.
And realistically, like, what is $12 a day? Really? I mean,
Mhm.
I'll give it to them.
Yeah.
If it'll help keep them going. But one person, $12 a day for 3 months, it's really not enough.
Especially with tourist season winding down, it's the locals can't. Half the locals aren't working, so they can't afford to go out and support everybody. So and the rest of us suffer, and unless we have expandability, it's hard.
Yeah.
It sucks to see a lot of places that are going down that aren't going to be able to open back up again.
Yeah, especially on the second wave, like I guess this is really like the third wave.
It's all one big wave.
That's true. Yeah.
We never really got much of the waves they were talking about for the majority of, especially out here. None of our hospitals got overwhelmed. We had plenty of beds, ventilators. We were pretty lucky. I mean, obviously, there's other parts of the country that got hit a little harder, but unbeknownst to me, there's not really anybody hit that overwhelming point. There was, There's temporary hospitals in some cities that never got used and stuff like that. So, I mean, not to diminish the people that have died from this, that sucks. But, the rest of us are still trying to make our way. And if Meme has to stay home and nobody gets to see her as much, but the rest of us get to go out and still work, we're at a pretty relatively low risk. I mean, I feel like that's how we should be doing things.
Yeah. And Biden, as much as, some people do or don't agree with what he says, he put out something the other day that was like, we want to set up a tier system for this moving forward. He's like, if you're green tier, stay the fuck away from red tier. If you're red tier, stay the fuck in your home. It was a little more dramatic than that. Like, he wanted to put, like, red tier in, like, one specific part of the city, which I don't necessarily agree with at all.
That gets a little dystopian, I think, if you start pulling people out of their homes, out of isolation, and putting them in this one area. And it's interesting you put it that way. The tier system, there's a shielding system that the CDC has guidelines outlined that they did since July. It was more or less the long and short of it is you have someone who's they call it the green zone, so it can either be a bedroom or a hallway or whatever section of the house that grandma or whoever otherwise at risk person sits at, and the rest of the people they limit their in and out, and when they do go in they wear a mask, they make sure they sanitize, help grandma however she needs, but people who are at a higher risk use the self-isolation in that aspect, and the rest of us get to go about doing the rest of what we want. And then those specific guidelines extrapolated out to that theory of household, neighborhood, they call it camps or whatever, for if it reaches some sort of like critical mass with the pandemic where people are dropping dead left and right. But I think we're well past that if that was to ever happen at this point. We've got 3 different vaccines ready to come out. The majority, I feel like, those that have died may have died from several other things this year, regardless of the pandemic. A lot of them were elderly and otherwise immunocompromised or had these, comorbidities, they call them, and stuff like that. But, it's a sad fact of life.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah. I mean,
I won't disagree. There's things that we can do to help along the way, but at the end of the day, it's like...
What sucks, in my opinion, is that there seems to be only 2, not acceptable, but accepted trains of thought. Like, you either have to be a hardcore, do everything the CDC tells you, or, no offense to you, and I hope you don't take offense to this, but hardcore your train of thought.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's kind of, like, meeting in the middle on it, where, admittedly, like, I'm kind of in the middle about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to stop going to bars. Like, that's such an alcoholic thing to say, but dude, like, I need it. And not just because, like, I need to drink. That's not what I'm saying, but, like,
You accept the risk. It's risk assessment.
Exactly.
Same way when you get on a plane to fly or your car to drive to work.
Yeah. Like, I need social interaction more so than I need to, like, drink. I'm just using a bar as an example. Like, I need to go out. I need to see people. Like, I don't have, like... I'm the kind of person. I've been a performer for fucking my entire life, and all of a sudden,
humans are inherently social creatures as it is.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
like being around other people, and isolation isn't healthy for us for a number of ways. And I feel like that is a thought process that's lost on a lot of people, and all these mandatory lockdowns and all these people stuck in homes is suicide rates, depression, substance abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, domestic abuse. All those other things are on way high rise because all these people are forced to be there, and there's some instances that could be remedied simpler than others, but we're not, as a human species, meant to be isolated like this, and it just causes more problems that I feel like you talk about those 2 trains of thoughts. People, as everybody's saying what the CDC saying, but the CDC and the WHO, if you recall correctly, have been kind of wishy-washy on a lot of things throughout all this. So how hard do you really want to follow them?
Right.
But there's those people that are hard and fast about, the science or whatever about as they see it versus the risk assessment. People like, I understand there's a legitimate risk. There's a way less risk for somebody who's 12 versus somebody who's 82. Mm-hmm. And I think we should all be able to live our lives accordingly. And that harder divide, I think, has become a little more apparent with current events this year leading into the election and this pandemic thing, and just like a lot of people thinking this is the end of the world. But it's really, I've seen hard emotion-based stuff, people some that I've interacted really don't see or aren't willing to see other sides of arguments versus those who are more willing to just kind of follow the facts and, quote Ben Shapiro, facts don't care about your feelings. They are what they are.
Right.
So if this is how things are, we take it as it is. We, absorb all the information about it and make a rational decision. Whereas I feel a lot of people are just kind of like going off a emotional based roller coaster where, if we save one person, these lockdowns are worth it. Well, then why haven't we banned cigarettes and alcohol and,
right.
drag, NASCAR? It's like, that's
Rip Dale Earnhardt, man.
Yeah,
like I said, like I'm pretty neutral about it. Like there are things that I'm 100% willing to accept if it saves one life, and there are things that like I feel like there's a workaround on. Like I'll wear a mask for the next I don't care about the mask. It fucked up my beard, but realistically, it's wintertime. My face is warmer.
Yeah.
Like I used to like tease people that wore them like outside or in their car. 7 a.m. in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, my fucking mask is on because it's warm.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't bother me. I'll wear a mask if it saves one person for sure. But I would appreciate if me wearing a mask, if it saved one person, meant that I could fucking go to a bar.
Yeah.
Or bring my kids to fucking dinner. Like I get out of work just like you later than, you get out of work when the lockdown happens.
Yeah.
You don't even have the option. I get out of work late. I leave at 7. I get back at like 8 most days. And, it's too cold to bring my kids outside. There's nothing to do. A big part of my life is food and beverages, going out to dinner and drinks with my family or my friends or whatever.
Absolutely.
And a big part of nurturing my mental health is doing that too.
Yeah.
That and art. And which is a big part of why I'm doing this now. Because I can't play out anywhere. I need to do something.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is safe enough. Like we're 6 feet apart. You know what I mean? Obviously,
sure.
if I was feeling shitty, I wouldn't have somebody come here. If you were feeling shitty, I feel like you probably wouldn't come here.
Yeah. And I'm not going to take I'm not anti-mask by any means. I mean, there's applications, and I feel the same sentiment that you do. Is like if I got to wear a mask from the front door to my table, and follow these kind of silly rules in some aspects, to be able to sit and have drinks with my friends and family, then so be it. Yeah. And that, and I when it really starts screwing with people, like I had an instance not too long before we ended up shutting down, but we weren't doing any pool or darts downstairs, and then we decided to do so because it was slowing down a little bit. Outside wasn't as busy, so we figured kind of cater some of the regulars, people like coming in and whatnot. So we have all of these almost ceiling high plexiglass barriers set up along the drink rail, pretty much encasing this whole pool and dart area. So we had people up there and said, just if you come down from there to order drinks or go to the bathroom, put your mask on while you're up there, you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, of course, somehow that night, code enforcement comes in and be like, oh, you can't have people standing up without masks on. They got to be seated. So they have to sit, remove mask, drink, put mask on, play pool. I'm like, so COVID can't get me down here, but it can get me when I'm sitting. It's like stuff like that is where it gets wishy-washy for me. But if I gotta wear the mask in the grocery store or whatever because some corporate policy is set upon these people to go, whatever. It's not the end of the world. I think it's annoying as hell, and I think there's studies that show it's not supremely effective unless you're wearing an N95 or otherwise, microbial filter thing. So, but if it makes you feel more comfortable, have at it. I'm not gonna, call someone a sheeple just because they're wearing a mask. Whereas I would also expect somebody not to accost me because I'm not.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
There was something that. What the fuck was I gonna say?
don't know, man.
I didn't want to interrupt you. You were on a roll, but there was something that you said that I was going to touch on. What? Oh, yeah. I'm also going to wear a mask, but I'm also only going to accept it for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just like every other disease, you know, H1N1, all this shit, like, virus, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not the only one that thinks that way, you know, that we can only do it for so long. Like, it's a fact.
No, I think so.
Like, honestly, like, when the riots were happening, I should say, I saw someone post that, like, you know, it's the most American thing in the world that we just, you know, COVID's over because we decided we were done with it as Americans.
Yeah,
you know, and that focal point definitely drew focus away from, you know, the pandemic and wearing masks and social distancing and everything like that. And, you know, it got a lot of shit done, but the next time around it'll take something much smaller.
Yeah.
You know, when people are, you know, on the fence about whether or not they're fed up with it, it'll take a much more minute happening to turn people's opinion from, you know, wearing a mask everywhere to just straight up fucking not.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
And the longer this goes on, it's just the more worked up people are going to get about it.
Yeah.
I mean, even though, like, the people who are, you know, I think virtue signaling a little bit with the obsessive mask wearing in the car, all that sort of thing all the time, I think there's going to reach a point where it's like we just can't. People, you know, I'm lucky, but people's faces breaking out. I know my face gets
Dude, I'm
damp
going through it.
just going through the grocery store. Like, it's just like, man, it can only, like you said, we can only put up with it for so long.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, but off that, that was solid. I'm super articulate, by the way. That was I don't know if you practiced that or not, but
No,
that was really impressive, dude. I mean, I'll have to fact check you later, but
No, feel free.
no, I don't fucking care. You said it out loud. It's a fact now. Yeah.
That's how it works now. It's my truth. It's not the truth. It's my truth.
Yeah, alternative facts. Oh man. So what? You know, you've been working downtown for a while, and I know we were gonna have a second guest here, who's also been, you know, downtown for a while. One of the focal points was gonna be like some of the shit that you've seen. You know, what's one of the funnier things that you've seen downtown?
Funny subjectively, I don't know. I could definitely I've seen a few people screwing in bathroom stalls. That's a pretty easy tell. That's almost kind
Dude,
of
Amigos is the worst bathroom to do anything in.
At the downstairs, the women's room too,
Really?
which is the stank room.
Yeah.
Which anybody's ever been near that bathroom with the door open for many years was ungodly a smell, and no one ever knew what it was about. But that was I always got a little chuckle out of it when we would shut the upstairs bathrooms on a slow night. You know, like the upstairs dining room wasn't open or whatever. All the girls would be like, "Oh, can I go to the upstairs bathroom?" Be like, "No." They're like, "Oh, well, it stinks." Like, well, it's kind of your own damn fault. You're the ones who take care of it in there. Definitely fair share of people doing coke off the back of the toilets, which if you think about it is gross.
Yeah, it's so gross.
It's like there's cuckas right near there.
I wonder if COVID's gonna change people's perception about shit like that in the future. Because I've done coke off everything.
Yeah, we've all done our
You know
fair
what I mean?
share of coke off of weird surfaces.
And I'd
As
be
Squirrely Dan would say, "You done behind the manure pile, Schneefs?"
Yeah. I mean, like literally everything. I don't think there's a surface.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah, are the coke heads gonna switch up their game? Everybody gonna start carrying mirrors around again like they used to.
Yeah, that or you're gonna have to pre-chop it, you know, and
Yeah.
just lay it on your
What
iPhone.
was the rocket? They get the little
That's true.
fucking
That
toot
Cruel Intentions
snooters.
cross.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everybody's on the retro reverb thing. Everybody's bringing back the old style, so that could happen.
100% true. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll start getting coke with no fentanyl. That's fucking
Yeah,
retro,
that'd
right?
be sick.
That'd be amazing. I gotta waste a fucking tenth of my bag trying to test it every time.
I'd love to
That
not
shit's
lose
expensive, man.
fucking friends over that shit.
That
too.
too. Yeah. Fucking R.I.P. a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Which again brings us back to Amigos, dude. I mean, we've had services there for friends, you know,
Yeah.
like, god damn.
Yeah.
Portland's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. Stay weird, Portland.
Stay weird.
We may gripe, but we love it. I don't know. I don't actually. Some of the cooler, like, definitely seen some screwed up shit over at Amigos because, like I said, it's a grungy dive bar that we're perpetually trying to crawl out from underneath. It's just where everybody who gets kicked out everywhere else usually ends up. We'll let them in. I mean, admittedly, we've been trying to do better about that because it's way less of a headache to not let those guys in. But
Just change the dress code. Your shoes have to be tied.
yeah, honestly, yeah. We'll do like which one is it? You can't wear camouflage and fucking.
The reason I got kicked out
Curl.
of Mark's bars so many times. Remember that fucking hoodie I had with the M on the back?
I think so.
The old
hoodie.
Mara
hoodie.
Yeah, dude. I walked in there one night. I'm always wearing a snapback, and I'm always wearing a fucking hoodie. And I walked in there one night, and the guy's like, "Take your fucking hat off." Like, not even like, "Hey man, we don't allow hats," but like, "Take your fucking." I'd already paid.
Like you expect.
This is the second person I've spoken to,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Take your fucking hat off," and I'm like, "Okay." Take my hat off. Walk in, see a bunch of friends, and there's this one dude, John Vance. You might know him. You probably kicked him out of Amigos a time or two. But he's a big motherfucker. Dude's like 6'4", just a brick shit house, for lack of a better term, and more brawn than brain. Not a dumb guy, but just definitely like one of those.
A meathead.
A meathead. Yes, perfect. Thank you. And he's like somehow related to Crystal, whatever, and. I've helped him out with a few things in the past. Like, anytime I see him in public, he's just like, "Oh, man, what's up, man?" And we wind up hanging out for the rest of the night. So I walk into, I think it was Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
They're the which one has two dance floors?
2 dance floors. I mean, they get the VIP out back, and then, like, the main dance floor and the bar steps up on the backside. Yeah, that's Pearl.
Pearl, yeah, okay, yeah. So
they have the tap house, too, is what you're thinking of. The 2 bars next to each other are connected.
Kind of. That area.
Anyway.
So I see John and blah blah. We're having a couple drinks and it's literally like 30 minutes goes by and a different guy. So I know the third fucking security guard I've talked to so far in 30, 40 minutes walks up to me and he's like, you can't wear a hoodie. Yeah, no, my hat's gone. I had to check my hat. I had to pay $2 fucking.
Turn it into a Ron White sketch.
yeah, take off the hat. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So now it's the hoodie.
Yeah, so the third dude walks up and he's like, "Hey man, you can't have a hoodie." He says it really nicely. And I should have just been like, "Cool, bro, not my fucking store." But I was like, the other dude said I couldn't wear a hat. And that triggered him. Oh. He just like went off. He fucking grabs me and he's like, "Take off the hoodie." And I was like, "Do you want me to get the fuck out or do you want to take off my hoodie?" Like, because you're touching me like you want me to leave. If you touch me again, we have a fucking problem. And the only reason I'm being this loud about it is because John's there. Mm-hmm. And he can see clear over
Head
me.
over you.
Yeah, like to this guy. And I don't think he knows that this dude's with me. And he's like, "What kind of problem are we going to have?" And John goes, "This kind of problem." Just like steps between us. Pushes him. Another dude grabs my fucking hoodie from behind me. And without even looking, I just turn around and smack, right? Because in my mind, there's 10 bouncers already around me. Like it's about to go down. Guess who I hit? Mark. Whatever the fuck is... Yeah. Yeah. So now there is 10 bouncers around me real fucking fast. And no matter how big John is, like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. 10 guys, you know what I mean? And, yeah, dude, that's like the break that I got in the top of my nose, the break in my fucking fourth metacarpal, all of that came from that one night.
Oh, nice.
Left with my fucking hoodie on, though.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah.
They made me wear a winter coat inside because I had a polo that was lightly camouflaged. They're like, "You don't like camouflage." I'm like, "So I got to wear my coat?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "It's really hot in here." They're like, "Stand by the pole and like roll it down a little bit." I was like, "Fuck, this sucks."
They were so ridiculous over there. It's like, dude, you're in Portland. Like, if you want to stay afloat, like, you have to let the trash in.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because they're not just buying, like, shit for themselves, but they're also buying stuff for all the girls that are there that are out of their fucking league.
And they eventually would, because you'd go in and they'd be full, and it's not everybody that they denied. It was like, okay, well, we denied enough people that I guess we should let them in now, because otherwise it looks empty.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You never want to you don't want to have the most empty room downtown.
No, not full like we had like down at the pier up in the Lindbergh's Landing.
Lindbergh's Landing
is what they call the club, and then renamed Top of the Pier nightclub. Towards the end of my tenure there.
No shit.
Yeah, I was you may have stepped. They did the comedy shows in the evenings, and then they had nightclubs on the weekends.
I've probably been there, man. I don't go down. I don't go to Old Orchard enough to like have a foot. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like I go down there a couple times in the summer. But it's like a planned thing, you know, because it's fucking like 35 minutes from here.
True.
It's usually around the 4th of July because like Crystal's grandparents live on the beach, you know. And it's cool, but like it's too far to like
make a night out of it.
Too far to drink and drive.
Yeah, no.
I hate the way that sounds. You know what I mean? But even like a couple of beers and driving back from there is not the smartest thing to do. Yeah.
They're all over it. But no, those have actually been where some of my more gnarly brawls have happened. Is upstairs and up in the pier. Yeah, it was one that a lot of the people like to overzealous of my stories was how far I jumped off the stage there with the DJ. It was DJ Lenzo, which I don't know if you've seen him around. No. He usually played Mark's place a lot, and he did weekends down on the pier for a number of years. But no, these couple of guys just came in and not saying I'm sort of just any sort of fucking Magnum PI, but you see a couple people walk in, sometimes you're like, oh, they might be trouble later, so you keep an eye on them, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
These guys traipsing around, and I see the bigger of the two troublemakers told his buddy to go over and do something, and I just see him beeline across into the center dancing area down there, and he just hauls off and swings on this guy, and just fucking lays him out, and I'm like, okay, cool. So quickest path down is just to jump. So I jumped, probably about 6 feet, cross the stage or whatever, hop on this guy, kind of rolled over him or whatever. And my manager happened to be up there, and he grabbed onto him, and, we're doing the whole song and dance, making sure nobody's jumping on, that sort of thing. And he's fighting my manager. Now, mind you, my manager is probably almost half again as big as you and my height. He said he was an Afghanistan vet, Army, bad motherfucker, does jujitsu.
Do not fuck
and
with
this guy's just struggling, whatever, and he slides him into a triangle hold, and the natural circle always envelops whenever there's some sort of issue. Mm-hmm. So that he's on the edge of the circle right next to the stage. Saturday night, boom, boom, fucking bass, everything going, and you just hear this guy go, triangle hold! And he had him laid out in the triangle because he just wasn't listening, and we have what we call roam team out there. We usually have with a Orchard Beach police officer just to handle stuff like that, and he come and scoop him up and walk him off the pier, and that was just one of the later tall tales of, I jumped, 10 feet. No, I just kind of hopped off the stage. It wasn't anything crazy.
Trying the old dick twist.
Grab his dick and twist it.
Oh, man. That's wild. Yeah, I've definitely, even, not even working downtown, but just being downtown, you can definitely see some shit. Mm-hmm. My friend used to own, oh, fuck, now I'm not going to remember the name of it.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah, it was one of the cobblestone streets. That also doesn't narrow it down. Fuck. Well, whatever. Old Port Tavern.
Oh, okay.
10 years ago, or a long time ago, you used to be a partial owner of it. Or it was one of the 4 guys that owned it, whatever. And I guess it wasn't 10 years ago because I used to go there. But, I used to go down there and just hang out or whatever. And it was always, the most fun was to have a couple of drinks. If you're not there with a girl or whatever, you don't want to dance. You have a couple of drinks and go fucking stand outside with the bouncers.
Yeah.
And there was this one dude, he was already missing one of his front teeth, wife beater, jeans with a belt on, but the belt was still too loose. The whole aesthetic, the whole fucking aesthetic. And, he was visibly already having a rough night. Probably wasn't attacked, but probably fell once or twice already on his own. And, he's fucking stumbling down the hill to Old Port Tavern. And, the bouncer's a mile away. He's like, I'm not fucking letting this guy in. And he gets there and he's like, oh, he's got his ID in his hand, but he can't hand it to him because he's fucking doing one of these. And he's like, keep it, man. You're not coming in. He's oh, come on, man. I've already got kicked out of 3 fucking bars. I just want to drink. And the guy's like, yeah, dude, if another bouncer kicked you out or another bartender cut you off, it's not gonna fly here.
It's a done deal.
And he's like, oh, I literally said, I just took a bus here from Lewiston. I'm just trying to meet some girls. Again, broad strokes, just painting the picture. And he's like, nah, man, you got to go. I mean, it's last call in 10 minutes. Fucking get out of here. His cab's up there, top of the hill, And, he starts getting melty. Pushes, and the bouncer is, he's, again, just a big dude. They're all just, naturally bigger guys. Because, and he's, pushing him. He's letting him push him because he's just, kind of, the wall's right behind him. He's just doing one of these. And he takes a swing at him. And he, just barely, gets the bottom of his chin. And so he goes, okay, fucking hits him back. And the dude just planks. smacks his fucking head off the sidewalk, and immediately fucking blood.
No.
So I'm like, all right, well, I just witnessed a murder.
He's dead.
He's fucking. This dude is no longer like R.I.P.
R.I.P. that dude.
Yeah. And he lays there for like 30 seconds, and the bouncer's looking at me, and he's looking at the other bouncer, and I'm just like, I don't know. And they're like looking at each other, and they're like, dude, we've got a no striking policy. Like, you can't just do that.
Oh no.
Yeah, which I mean, no striking policy or not, like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess he got hit, so I mean, technically, I guess it wouldn't have been assault. I don't know the fucking law, but he would definitely lose his job. So I just like go inside and I go get my friend. I'm like, bro, and he like comes outside, and by the time we come back outside, the guy's standing up trying to square up again.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and cops caught on to what was going on at that point and like came down and took care of it. But it's just like, how the fuck do you get to that point where you're like, dude, 4 times bigger than me. Check out the sweet chin music.
Yeah.
Like. It's never gonna be a good time for you.
No, I had
ever.
that. I've had that happened on a couple different occasions. One kid out front of Amigo is just like, it's always the scrawny little shits who think they can take on the world. So he got his shit handed to him a few times. Got choked out by a bystander, his buddy, another buddy. Like we have a bunch of regulars that come around that kind of like have our backs, and if like things develop after we kick somebody out, they'll kind of like end up taking care of stuff.
Yeah,
keep
for sure.
Get them out of there.
You gotta
So
have the boys.
Yeah, so like this kid just got like not just like choked out like 3 or 4 times and keep getting up, and it's like, bro, like just give up. Like you lost. And like the police are already coming at this point. It's like you're going to jail now because you couldn't just walk away. Like we were all cool with just letting you get knocked out and go away, but you had to keep going. And then another kid. When I was working at this podunk bar out in Buxton,
That's a bar in Buxton?
There's a couple of them, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this kid, and of course everybody knows everybody out there. So
Yeah.
one of the guys that used to be a bouncer down there was a good, nice enough guy, and he'd help out because there's some biker gangs in there, and he was actually came in handy a few times talking those guys down because I hate dealing with biker gangs. They just stress me out. But anyway, so this kid just same thing, just got all worked up or whatever, and then the good old boy that was there helping me just dragged him out and got feisty, choked him out. They put him in the bed of a fucking pickup truck. Went back inside drinking. I go out to smoke a cigarette later. I'm like, you guys, your buddy woke up back again. Same thing, choked him back out, put him in the bed of the pickup truck. Ended up bringing him home later. I'm like, well, shit. I mean, that's a rough night for him, but at least he made it home. I guess.
Imagine how many brain cells you
yeah,
lost.
right.
Fuck.
Versus how many he had left to lose, I guess.
Yeah, 50% is too big of a number at that point, Damn. So, we talked about this one, your little ducky.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack, North Dakota.
Yes, sir.
What about this one, dude?
That is my moose. I got that 2 years ago right on Eagle Lake. Don't ask me what town it was in.
Is an Eagle Lake a town? Oh, it's a lake.
There might be the town surrounding called Eagle Lake,
I
but
don't know.
it's definitely a lake. Yeah, so my father got drawn in the moose lottery, and between my grandfather, and my grandmother, they've been drawn like 9 or 10 times over the years. So
Oh, wow.
he'd already shot one years ago, so I was his sub-permittee, so we went out and did that. Hunted all week. South of where I actually ended up shooting that, and then changed it up after a warden buddy of ours was like, you got to go to this spot, yada, yada. We weren't really even going to hunt that Saturday because I had to go back and work. So we just kind of like scooted out in the morning for a little while. We walked this one road that the buddy had told us about and didn't see anything. And then we kind of turned on the next road and went out a little piece. And where the trees broke, this guy was trotting across the clearing. So cracked off a couple shots and dropped them. And then Dad had to go like the 2-hour round trip back to camp to get the trailer and haul him out. So I was sitting there with a moose in the field for a couple hours.
That's awesome.
But no, it was cool. Doing taxidermy, my dad always kind of says like every mount's more like a memory. So like it can be a trophy to anybody. It's not a trophy by like skull and antler standards by any means, but it's just kind of meaningful. It's cool. It's my first moose.
No, that's definitely super cool, man.
Yeah.
So,
Still got a little bit of meat left. Almost done eating it.
2 years later?
Yeah.
Damn, that's impressive.
I've been eating mostly ground moose versus ground beef for the past couple of years. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, most people, dude, your family's pretty lucky. Most people go, 10, 15 years and maybe they get picked up once.
Yeah.
To have that many and that much time, that's...
We've given a lot of them to subcommittees over the years. A bunch of friends of my dad and my grandfather have shot moose.
Yeah.
One of the guys that we went hunting in North Dakota, he shot a moose under my dad's permit one year, many years ago, and he was putting us into the Louisiana alligator lottery for a period, but I guess they're not doing it anymore or whatever. But
yeah.
That's kind of like, that was always their exchange. It's like, we'll get you moose, you get one of us a gator. So
Yeah.
Still waiting on the gator.
No doubt. Yeah, I've shot a couple gators in Florida. Shot a ton of shit in the South. I went to Texas boar hunting a couple times.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a lot of fun.
That's definitely something I want to do is boar hunting.
I'm talking like ARs and helicopters.
No, absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, dude. It's definitely some. You feel like a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, right.
I mean? Yeah.
Dusting pigs out of a door of a helicopter. Hell yeah! You
Yeah.
see like Jack Ryan out there.
Yeah. It's funny though. The first time I went, it was kind of like when you first go skydiving, like your tandem for a bunch of times. Like, not only are you strapped, like you're sitting down and you've got a harness on, you're strapped into the helicopter, but there's another dude that's also sitting like
right behind you,
like not like spread eagle, but like his legs are spread around you, right behind you, and you're also strapped to him, and he's also strapped to the helicopter. Yeah. Then again, insurance policies and shit,
of course.
And a lot of these guys that own these companies like are actual retired vets and shit like that, which is super cool.
Makes you feel a little better flying up there with them.
It does, yeah. Where it made me uncomfortable is like, I consider myself really a really good shot. I've been shooting my whole life. My family's military, on my dad's side, and I've built a bunch of rifles. I think I'm fucking awesome. And then the first time they ask you, like what's your skill level or what's your familiarity with firearms, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like I'm good. Like if there's ever been a dude that's good, like I'm good. You know what I mean?
I'm a smooth operator.
Exactly, just some little fucking punk. And the first time they're like, okay, hang out, and I'm like, I'm so far back that my shells are hitting the inside of the cab. You know what I mean?
You're like, you gotta lean out.
Yeah, they're like, get the fuck out there. And I'm like, oh, it's the wind. And they're like, you said you were good. You can't handle a little bit of wind. It's definitely humbling.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it's really fun though. And there's another picture of you with a deer. I didn't pull it up.
In the cooler from Instagram?
Your field dressing one.
Oh, that's the same. That's the moose.
Oh, that's the moose?
Yeah, that's so it was me, my dad, and my mom went, and mom was just being like, be funny, like take pictures with the heart and all that. So yeah, the gory pictures are for me when I was field dressing that moose.
Oh, no shit.
Pulling the innards and the heart and all that out.
Yeah. That so again, like when I was younger and I would hunt a lot because like I said I haven't been out even once this year. I used to field dress everything, and I was telling my oldest son, I was like, if we go out, you got to drink the blood. I wasn't obviously gonna make him do it, but like my dad made me.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I don't know. So I like showed him that scene from Red Dawn.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, dude, that's so gross. Like I can't do it. And but I convinced him that he could do it, and so I definitely want to get out there with him next year. But it had been a couple of years since I'd field dressed something, and I was like, I want to make sure I look like a boss, especially in front of my kids. So I was like Googling it, or I was on YouTube rather, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, that's what I thought. So that's what I remember. And then I was like, oh fuck, I forgot you got to cut off the dick and balls.
Yeah, you can leave them on.
Yeah. And just like the whole thing, I was like, I can't believe I used to do that. Becoming a dad, dude, in a lot of ways turns you into a bitch. It's so bad, man. Like, yeah.
They're supposed to be all like amped up to protect your kids, be like fucking Papa Bear now.
There's definitely plenty of circumstances that are like that as well. But I always, when I noticed it, was extremely specific. So you watch Family Guy? Do you remember the episode where somebody knocks out Stewie and he's got like a head wound for the entire episode, and they're hiding it from Lois the entire time.
Yeah,
putting hats on him and shit.
Yeah,
and he's like sleeping at the dinner table, but he's got a hat on. And then eventually it turns up. They're like, "Oh, who put this hat on him?" And it's a fucking live raccoon. And it's like biting the side of his head. So the whole time, the whole family is trying to keep Lois from knowing that it was, you know, one of their faults. And at the very end, she's back, like literally the last 30 seconds of the episode, she's backing down the driveway. Peter grabs the baby, Stewie, by the foot and throws him behind the car. The first time I saw that episode, I was like, dude, that's fucking hilarious. I saw it like 2 months after having my first kid, and I was like, I'm writing a letter to Congress.
Oh, no.
Like, yeah, like I didn't, obviously. But it's
this is terrible. I would never do that to my child.
Yeah. Or like the videos you see on Facebook of like military dad comes home and he's like hiding with like a mask or something. And then the kids see him. Like, you know, 10 years ago, I was like, that's cute. You know, 3 days ago at work watching the video, I was fucking crying in my office, dude.
So much.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I hear that a lot.
I don't know if it's just like it's got to be a combination of like getting older and being a dad because like it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy, especially now that I have a daughter. Like, you know, she just turned 1 not too long ago. Like, I had 2 boys. So it was like, yes, it fucks you up mentally. But like, you know, like you're saying, there is that macho part of you that also comes out.
Yeah.
You know? But now that I have, like, when the boys cry, I'm like, dude, you're a fucking man. You got to figure this out real quick. You know? And then, like, my daughter cries, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Sweet baby,
exactly.
it's okay, honey.
Yeah, dude. And she fucking knows it, too, dude.
No,
It's
they
crazy.
play it up.
Yeah,
They're
sure.
They're not always as dumb as they let on.
No, absolutely not. But I want to check out. I pulled a couple from your socials. I want to check out what's this next one. This one, dude. This one's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know who this man is.
Uh-huh.
Who is this man?
My father.
That's your father.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, that's New Year's last year. Brian Callen at the Wilbur in Boston. My sister, who was here earlier, she bought the tickets because she's cool like that. She buys a bunch of
Super cool
tickets to stuff ahead of time when she sees it. She got tickets, but I think she had work or something else come up and couldn't go. And I wasn't able to drive at the time, so Dad was like, "Oh, I'll go." So him and I went down and saw Brian Callen, and I guess she'd gotten VIP tickets as well. So we got to do a meet and greet after the fact. So
that's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
So
we got to meet him.
Like New Year's last year, like a year ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that a year ago you were that close to another human?
Yeah. I know, and I hate catching myself thinking that, like watching like shows and like all this other stuff, and like people. Like, even just, like, touching other people, like, out in social, I'm like, oh, we used to be able to do that. I'm like, fuck, I hate that I think that.
Yeah.
That it's like, we're in a place where it's like, oh, I wish it used to be, you know, I wish it was like that again.
I always think of The Walking Dead, like, there's a drinking game, and one of them is, like, drink every time Rick says it's not the world it used to be, or something like that.
What it used to be.
Yeah.
Coral.
Or that's not our world anymore, or like, whatever. Yeah, dude, and it's like crazy because like you would literally have those thoughts now. Like it's you can't do that. Like I feel so bad for my kids because they don't fucking understand it. You know what I mean?
No. And that's one of the things that kills me the most. Seeing it going out and about is people like I was in Home Depot not long ago, and there's a kid with probably like a 3 to 5 year old kid with a mask on, and the kid's naturally, as a 3 to 5 year old would, keeps taking it. Oh, buddy, you gotta wear it. I'm like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the kids don't get it. And that's just not fun. It's not fun for the rest of us having faces masks on all the time, but it's especially not fun for kids who like, how do you explain that to your child? Like, oh, it's like kind of this disease that you could get that's going to suck and might kill grandma, and you'll probably be okay, but we got to wear these masks.
Yeah. Or like my oldest is in school.
Yeah.
You know? So my kids are 8, 4, and 1. And, you know, my oldest is like, he's kind of a punk. So like... You know,
after Dad.
Yeah, unfortunately. You know, we'll walk into a store. They'll be like, "Dude, don't fucking touch anything unless we're buying it or I tell you to."
Yeah.
And he just forgets. He's just a kid, you know. He's just like, touch all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like, please. Like,
oh, I was a hands in your pockets, sit on your hands kid. Trust me, I know. My mother attests to that.
Yeah.
I was a touch everything. I can't see it without having to, you know. Oh, what's that?
Yeah. And then my youngest, you know, he's not my youngest boy is 4, and he's total polar opposite of me and my eldest. Like, he's very sweet, cares about everybody, everything. Like, literally probably 6 to 7 times an hour, he tells everybody that he sees that he loves them.
Oh.
Like, he'll just be like watching TV or on his iPad or playing with stuffed animals or whatever, and he'll be like, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, what? I love you. And it's multiple times an hour that he does that.
That's cute.
Everyone he can see. Yeah, he's adorable. You know, and he's like, I want to go to the park. It's like, well, dude, we can't go to the park. He's like, you know, and he's like, when's Copa virus gonna be gone? You know, it's like, dude, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah.
You know, obviously my daughter's too young to realize any of it. She doesn't wear a mask. You know, she's 1. But it's just, yeah.
Is the oldest doing hybrid learning? Or is he
yeah, man. So this is the 3rd week in a row that they've canceled his school.
Of course.
Because there was an outbreak not in his school, but in the middle school. And I guess, like, one of the teachers goes, like, back and forth. So it's like both schools are closed, and this is the 3rd week. Which is, yeah, it's crazy. So, you know, he does, like, 2 days on, 3 days off. And the off days, he's got to do it on, like, a laptop and shit. Yeah. And that's no way for an 8-year-old to learn. No. You know? And it's not enough. It's not enough time. It's not enough personal time. Like, it's, you know.
I saw something about a study. It was like the failing grades for virtual learning is, like, through the roof right now for kids. Because, like, how do you... I remember being... I mean, not quite that young. I remember about 10 is about my average age that I remember everything going forward, but I remember not being super stoked on school. I couldn't. I would be just like any other kid right now and be like, oh, I got to sit in front of this laptop for 8 hours a day. Lol, nope. Yeah. Not doing that. Like,
and not only that, but like the parents are supposed to be the enforcers. And like and again, I'm at work all the time. Yeah. Like when I'm at work, like I'm 100% disconnected from what's going on at home. You know, like they can call me, text me, whatever, FaceTime, but like I don't have any control over what's going on. I can't come home for lunch breaks, you know, and she's got 3 kids at home with her. One of them has to be on a laptop, and the other 2 are just like picking their assholes and spilling juices, you know, like it's not easy. No. You know, I definitely applaud her for putting up with it for as long as she has, you know. It's because they canceled school like halfway through the year last year. So she had all 3 kids every single day, all day for that whole half of school year, all of summer, and now like a half of the week every single day now. And you know, I remember her saying like, "Oh, I'm excited for him to go back as long as it's safe because like I need the time. Like 3 kids, 24 hours a day is just a lot.
That's a lot, and you can't get much else done on top of it.
No, yeah. And I'm not home enough to help with anything. Yeah, you know.
And you know, it seems like people in your situation, and other situations, are lucky enough to have a single parent or someone who can work from home part time or whatever support. But having all these damn kids home all the time, not everybody can work and take care of their kids. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
And it's expensive too. Like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of parents that are on, you know, like assisted lunch or like free, not parents, but kids that are on assisted lunch or free lunch. And like, you know, our community specifically has been really good with it. You know, they still like off days, you can still go and pick up a lunch at school to bring home your kid. Like, thankfully, we don't need that
across a lot of schools.
Yeah, which has been good. But like, you know, the cost of, you know, not every family has a laptop. You know, and they provided laptops for families that don't. Not every family has Wi-Fi at home. Yeah, you know, on top of not being able to work all the hours that you need to work because either your store's closed or, you know,
or somebody's got to be home. Yeah,
and
that's crazy. And it's those secondary effects that a lot of people aren't taking into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like we keep coming back to this, and every time we do, it's like it's solid conversations. Like I'm not mad about it, but I do want to. Yeah, man. All right, so you said you weren't sure what this one was. I feel like you said that you thought it was maybe just like a memory or like it was the caption that was more important to you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It sounds like something angsty 2014 Mike would have posted with with a lengthy caption.
Fair enough. What is this one?
That's the boys.
That's you and I.
It's a couple cutie patooties right there.
Again, that's Valentine's Day, bro. Yeah. Not that long ago.
Brutal.
Fucking.
And my beard's only almost back as long as that.
Again, though, like in public, like hanging with people, you know.
No masks.
No masks, man. Oh, and Derek Burby wanted me to give you a hug.
Yes.
Way back then.
Yeah. And someone thinks that you hate them, apparently.
Oh, it's my friend Matt. I was hanging out. I wasn't hanging out with him, so he was like, "Why do you hate me?" And then this one, dude. Yeah. Again, talk about a throwback. This was Club Texas.
Yes, that was the Club Texas pick.
Yep. We got
Jeremy munching on the mic back there.
Yeah, dude. Jeremy got little Lucas back here, who's fucking married now.
Oof.
Yeah, like a grown ass man. We got Johnny B.
Married with a kid.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Obviously, Mike. We got Apollo, who actually has done all the animation stuff for the podcast. So, like my watermark and the intro. The song was written by Gerard Rashawn, who was also one of my guests, but the physical arts and videos and stuff, that was all done by Apollo. And the watermark. And did you see the Thanksgiving one that I did? It's just my watermark with a pilgrim hat.
I don't think I saw
No,
that.
yeah. He made that too, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here, dude? Because we are in Amigos. We are in a bar right
Yes.
now, and you've got a fifth and 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 nips.
Yeah.
You don't serve those in bars.
No, that looks like some confiscation night, probably.
Spoils of war.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Old Port Fest cannot confirm. That could be a Saturday night, but
Old Port Fest would make sense.
yeah, we're usually a little better on checking bags then. So yeah, I think that was confiscated booze that we all drank. Definitely drank at the end of the night.
Oh yeah.
Can't let that go to waste.
No, that's what do you call that? That's alcohol abuse.
Yeah.
Oh, and then this is gonna bring us right back to our last one. So we don't have to go back on the Mills thing, man. But this definitely it goes back to the fucking local stuff that we've lost since this pandemic. I mean, for Bull Moose downtown to close,
That's crazy.
so rough.
I mean, I was never a huge Portland kid. I know tons of people who have a lot of memories there. I've been in there a handful of times. It's obviously super nostalgic the way that it's in the basement and kind of have that dingy old feel of what a lot of people like about record stores. And I know that over the years, like Mark Curto and a lot of local stations have done record store day events from there and all kinds of shit like that. But no, it sucks seeing a staple like that go downtown like that, and Port City gone. I mean, I don't.
That's a kick in the teeth.
State. I think the state's probably just got some historical site stuff keeping it from ever being shut down. But
I don't know if it's that or if they close Port City so they could pour.
Well,
the rest
yeah,
of the
because it
money.
is owned by the same management company, so that I knew that was going on. But yeah, but music venues and concerts are gonna be the last thing to come back. I mean,
Not only that, dude, but a lot of this stuff closed the last time we had a lockdown.
yeah,
But it was temporary closures. I don't know if people realize that now. This is gone.
mm-hmm.
And that dude that owned that, who relied on that for income,
yeah.
might lose his fucking house.
Mm-hmm.
It's
If he can't transfer somewhere else or find a new profession, yeah, that's his livelihood. And it's been a lot of places. There's tons of places with lease signs going up, and obviously the places downtown closing at different times. But I mean, from everything I've heard lately, we're pretty optimistic about being able to be reopened. But think that's between $15,000 to $30,000 for some places just to buy materials to reopen on a restaurant side specifically.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of shit to come up with when a lot of us have been just scraping by the past few months trying to make do with all of this. It sucks. It hurts a lot.
It does, man. 2013.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck is going on here?
I don't know, a bit of impromptu art of some sort. It seems like it was an ex-girlfriend's college dining room.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 plates, 3 cups, 1, 2, 3 forks.
Yes.
Not that much of an explanation, bro.
No, I don't, that's just what you see is what you get there on that one. I was just trying to be edgy with my bright blue beanie and pierced ears.
Pierced ears.
Yeah.
Stretched or pierced?
That was pre-stretch.
Pre-stretch.
That was when I got them pierced the first time. Probably could still shove an earring through there if I had to.
Yeah, I can still fit a ballpoint pen from time to time.
I was only 00 my biggest gauges. I didn't get big like the rest of you guys. But
Yeah.
they're definitely not closed all the way.
Yeah. Was that 7/8? I think was the largest one, the size of a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just love that one. Oh man.
Yeah.
So what's the day in the life of Mike Reynolds now?
Day in the life of Mike Reynolds now is particularly uninteresting. Not that it was a blockbuster before, but no, it's just mostly kind of just taking it easy. Just I left the company I was working for. I'd always worked security and stuff as side gigs, more or less, just supplemental income. And I'd been working doing landscaping for 7 years, better part of 7 years. And so I left that company about a year ago now. over kind of like what I thought I would take from the company versus what the owner thought I was in the company sort of deal, I guess. And so I've just been focusing on getting back to the next kind of career deal, like I mentioned earlier about getting back on the fire department.
Yeah.
That's my next step. I got to get recertified and finish my degree. So just kind of start heading in that direction. But so yeah, it's just been a lot of moping around, I guess, a little bit. Like I said, I helped my old man out with his business. He's kind of winding down. Him and my mom are trying to move out of state. They bought a camper, so they're being camper people now.
Very cool.
So they're trying to find a place a little more temperate. They're gonna scoot off to and retire and travel around and do all that. So I just been helping them out finish up. I just got to building this ridiculous freaking chicken coop over at the house.
At your house?
My parents' house.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, just this ridiculously large chicken run for no reason. After my dad's like, yeah, after these chickens die, we're probably not gonna have any more chickens. I'm like, well, why the fuck did I build this goddamn big ass chicken coop? But yeah, no, I'm just kind of pretty mellow these days in a transition sort of period. Nothing exciting. Yeah, just looking for the next big step.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a day in the life for me, I guess.
And you're hoping that the next big step is going to be as a firefighter?
Yeah, definitely. Trying to get certifications back and then maybe some footing here for a little while. My ultimate goal is to probably move out of state. I'm not a big fan of winters. I never was. I
feel you.
Casually snowboard on an off year if somebody drags me up to Shawnee on a Monday night, but never been big about like sledding or anything like that. So I'd like to see myself end up in like one of the Carolinas or somewhere where it's pretty mellow and I get to ride my bike like, 8 to 9 months out of the year versus 3.
Dude, I feel you.
So
mine's in the other garage right now, and it's funny. Crystal, as long as I've been with her, has always been like, "Oh, why don't we move to Florida? Why don't we move to Florida?" And I don't have like any family left there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my father's passed. His parents are passed. The rest of the family doesn't mean shit to me down there. But I have a couple friends that I still keep in touch with, and they come up here to visit. I'll go down there when I can.
Yeah.
But for the better part of 10 years, I've been like, I'm not fucking moving. Like, I live
moving
here.
sucks.
Like, exactly. Like moving, like we move like every 2 years just out of boredom.
Yeah.
But it's like a town.
Yeah.
Well,
that in you guys' case, your family's been growing, so you need a little bit bigger space.
That's a big part of it too. Yeah, that's a good point. But like the last like 2 or 3 years, when she brings it up, I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not like as opposed to the idea as I was, especially with the motorcycle thing, man. Like, putting that thing away for fucking 6 months a year.
So it's not even the where you want to move; it's just the actual physical act of moving. It's like fuck.
Oh, warmer, yeah.
Haul all my shit across country is what you're stressed about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The expense, yeah. And working, like it's super hard to interview for a job that's
true.
Any more than 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Because one, somebody doesn't want to hire you 2 hours away because travel.
Mm-hmm.
2, like, people. The big part of an interview is FaceTime.
Yeah.
And if you can't sit face to face with somebody and like talk to them for a while, like how are you going to trust them to run your business?
Yeah, feel them out.
Yeah. But I definitely would like to be somewhere warmer. Overall, now I think that way. Now I wasn't thinking that way a few years ago.
Yeah.
But, and like my youngest son hates the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll get fully dressed to go outside in the cold, and he'll like get to the step, like the last step, and be like,
Nah, not really.
You know what? Can you call Nana? I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You guys have fun. I'll be inside.
Yeah. And my oldest son, like, he loves dirt bikes. He's got, he's got a dirt bike. He loves being outside.
Hell yeah.
And he loves, all of my kids are water bugs. They all love swimming, and it's like this time of year. Well, not right now because you can't fucking run. Go to there's no pools open.
No.
Even like if you rent a hotel room, because we're famous for that. Like renting a room and bringing the kids to swim and stuff. But even if you rent a room, the pools aren't open. But they just like they love swimming. So I think about it more and more.
Yeah.
Plus, if I'm going to be a famous podcaster, I got to move to Texas.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Texas, Tennessee, those are good spots to get at.
Yeah.
Then my biggest thing against going all the way south is the summers. I don't know how much I could deal with heat.
Yeah.
I can get away with, I can rationalize cold, because if you're cold, you just throw some wool socks, another sweatshirt, whatever. You can warm up, sit by the fire. But when it's 110 with 90% humidity, there's only so many clothes you can take off, and AC that you can crank as much down, and it gets miserable.
One of the things that took getting used to coming from the south to here was in the summer. Like, you can't rent a place that has central air.
Yeah.
Central
air is few and far between up here.
Yeah, I didn't know that like it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like my first like big summer up here, I was just like, what the fuck? I gotta do what?
Yeah.
I gotta put what in the window?
Yeah.
It made no sense.
I spent some time down in Georgia a few years ago on a road trip with a buddy of mine, and that was definitely the big thing. Is just brick houses with good central air. Yeah. Everybody down south, and I got to talking to one of the guys that got friendly with down there, and he said it was basically the Georgia in August is the equivalent of Maine in the end of January, where you walk outside and the air is so potent, cold here, hot there, that it just takes your breath away. It's like it's like that down there, and I got a little bit of a taste of it. I went down there I was there the winter the first time, and then the next year I came back like early fall, and it was fucking hot.
Yeah.
It was like September.
Garages are more popular down there too.
Yeah.
Which is super weird. And you would think that like garages would be more popular up here to keep your car fucking
carports actually.
Yes.
More carports than enclosed garages. I noticed. For sure.
Yeah.
But only like it was like real upper crust if you had an enclosed garage and a carport. It was like you're doing pretty good. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's definitely all about covering in your car so it's not ice cold when you fucking go to work every morning covered in snow.
Which is funny because, when we got this place with the garage, Crystal's mom was like, "Oh, look, you have a place to put your car in the winter." I was like,
"No, you don't.
You don't.
No, not one bit. This is my studio."
Yeah, I do a lot of shit in here. Like, the band practices in here, and hopefully the podcast keeps growing. I'm building a new table. I'm ordering more cameras. It'll be really fun to see, like, just from the first one that I did and to this one, the differences in quality for sure. Because like the first one, like the cameras are like in and out of focus the whole time, and like the lighting is fucked. Yeah. And the lighting's still not perfect. But I've got more light rigs coming. I've got more cameras coming. Yeah. Or like, the editing in the first one. Like, I really hope that anybody that watches like the first episode of this like sticks around. You know
right.
I mean? Like,
they don't give up after the first. It gets better, I promise.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even like the flow. Like Dan did a really, really, really good job, but I feel like I was just like interviewing him the whole time.
Yeah.
Because every time he stopped talking, I would just like ask him a question. Whereas, I've kind of figured out how to keep it more conversational, how to keep it more fun. It doesn't have to be scripted. You know what I mean?
You figure it out as it goes.
Exactly.
It's a learning process. Yeah. This is fun.
Yeah. I mean, I like drinking and I like talking to people, so it's definitely been an outlet that way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good way to do it.
So you have got a little notepad in front of you. Is there anything that we've not touched on that's still on there?
Just a couple of my crazier stories, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear them.
So, like I said earlier, a lot of the more wilder, I guess, outward brawls that I had occurred when I worked down in Old Orchard on the Pier. And besides the Superman incident, we had one. So as you walk up to the upstairs club, there's a small bar, a very small walkway, and then the stage. And that small walkway goes down to the bathrooms for the upstairs. So they call it Pier 4, which is assistant manager up there. I was in charge, so I stood on the stage, kind of kept an eye over everything, made sure everybody was in place where they needed to be, yada, yada. So there's this group of people, probably like 5 or 6, mid-30s, whatever, hanging out by that small bar by the top of the landing, blocking the entrance to the bathroom. So it's super nice, like, always try to be friendly before anything else. It's just like, hey, guys, like, you're blocking the way to the bathroom. You guys are just mind, like, stepping back just a few. People can get by. Because there's, people like, oh, how do I get to the bathroom? It's, people are just generally not observant or assertive sometimes. But anyway, so, like, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, like, ask these people, like, really just, I'm literally asking you just, like, take a step back. You're blocking the bathroom. So I walk down, and I'm like, guys, I've asked you this many times. Like, I'm going to ask you one more time. Like, just really, you're blocking the way. And then they do the whole macho act or whatever. And so, like, we have the roam team with the police. So we have the radio, call down, code 2, but upstairs, yada, yada. All right, guys, like, time to go. Me and another guy, kind of, because we usually have one by the top of the stairs, myself on the stage, and then we'll have 2 other, one in the middle, one in the far corner. So the guy at the top of the stairs is kind of like helping me, like, guys, and these guys just weren't having it. They start throwing hands and bodies and hands, and flip-flops are going, and fucking one of the guy's girlfriends smashed a bottle over one of my security guard's head.
No
yeah,
shit.
we're rolling around in broken glass. It's a grand old time. The roam team finally shows up with, usually we have, one of the heftier guys on the shift and then a cop. So they're yarding people out. One guy gets arrested, the guy who starts it, and all this other shit. And it's fucking, like, unreal. It's, like, over a really simple thing. Like, just, come on, man, 2 steps back and turned to this whole big thing. And then the next morning, I got in. I usually get there around, like, 2 or 3 o'clock. And my manager pulls me in, and he's like, so I need a full incident report. And they pulled all the video logs or whatever from this stuff. The guy was an off-duty cop from Western Mass.
Oh, shit.
Got arrested. His desk sergeant wanted full witness statements from everybody involved in all the photos, because they usually had GoPro chest rigs with the roam team. They wanted all the video for the incident. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? You come up here on vacation and pull some stupid shit like that? And we had a time of year, and that was that time of year we called Worcester Week, which was just happened to be
a talkie week.
A ton of, talkie, Western Mass people just all happened to show up.
Yeah,
it was like Labor Week.
It's like Wahlberg Mass or something like that they all come from.
And just fucking, they flooded down to the pier, and they're all assholes.
Yeah, dude, it's the same way. So the only reason I know that is because I worked in hotels for so long, and I was a director of sales for a couple of hotels, and they all need, 15, 20, 35 rooms, whatever, for the hockey tournaments. Mm-hmm. It's all Massachusetts. It's all Worcester. I think I don't think Wohlberg is actually a town in Mass, but I think that's
there's Woburn.
Well, yes, that's what it is. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and that all these. They've got all these kids with their young kids. They're like between like 8 and 14 maybe. They'd all come in. They'd all check in. Every single one of them would try to find a way to not give you a fucking credit card at check-in. Dude, I swear.
I'm going to pay cash at the end, I swear.
Yeah, like the whole thing. And then, I worked at a hotel where it was like free drinks and hors d'oeuvres from 5 to 7. So, which I encourage people to participate in. It's, it's fucking cool, dude. Like, free fucking domestics and well drinks for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Boy, get me started.
You can't get that up here.
No, it was up here.
Oh, no. Oh, that was up here.
Yeah, you cannot get that in Mass.
Oh,
you can get it in Maine. It was right in Portland.
Okay.
Yeah. Maine's one of the few places like in the country where you can actually still include alcohol in like a rate of some sort.
Huh.
Because it's not complimentary, it's included.
Because I was gonna say, Maine, you can't give out booze.
Yeah, even if you do like specials, it has to be a different like ounce amount and like all that shit. Yeah, but if it's included, it's different. It's not complimentary. Yeah, so all the parents would come down and just get fucking lit, and then they'd leave, and they'd leave a hotel full of their fucking kids, dude, playing hockey in the hallways, like knee hockey. Yeah, so I can empathize with that week, and chances are I fucking met that guy at some point. You know what I mean? Like. Oh my God, it's bad, and they've all got fucking fades and Tahoes.
Yep,
they're all in way better shape than me. Like they look
somehow for no reason.
Yeah,
like why your department store manager? Why you this tan and this fucking ripped,
dude? It's the fucking Jersey Shore of New England. Because Jersey Shore's not New England, right?
New Jersey, no.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. Yeah. Oh God, yeah, dude, that's a real thing. That and Campers Weekend is another big one in Maine for hospitality and downtown stuff.
Yeah,
but that's usually just like I don't think I can say dumb Canadians.
I don't have a problem with
it.
I think you're specifically referring to those from Quebec.
Yeah, if we're gonna narrow it right down.
If there was ever a bane of my existence, it was French Canadians from Quebec on the pier. Because anybody south of 80 can speak full English.
Yeah.
just like the majority of the world. They teach it in their schools, English. But they would all come up here, and anybody who probably was 30 or older would always, when it was convenient for them, not speak English. How to put français and be like, I know you speak English, you motherfucker.
Right.
Get out of here. Everybody can see your dick in that Speedo. Get out of the restaurant. Put some pants on. Oh no, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it was a godsend the first summer I worked at Amigos and not the Pier, and I didn't have to hear French Canadian fucking all summer. It was like, so good.
Well, we made it to episode 4 before we got canceled, so that's nice. No, just kidding. No, it's true. Like, if you're from fucking Maine, like, you have to appreciate that is a reality of the fucking summer season, dude. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And they're damn driving.
The Saco driving?
No, they're driving.
Oh, they're driving, yeah. Yeah, they're driving on the wrong side of the road. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No.
Oh, man.
No. And the only other really story I had was similar to a story you had. A guy. Great thing about working, we call it the end of the pier, on the door, which was the first couple of years that I worked down there, was you could see people walking from the front of the pier all the way up. Yeah. And obviously with good communication, but you could always see them. So you could always tell those people that were questionable would come up. So it was a sort of off night. It was like a near Labor Day, kind of just after Labor Day sort of night. There's still a lot of people around. Wasn't like a blockbuster night. I think it was a Sunday. The upstairs wasn't open. I was working the door. And this guy comes up, big, good old boy, fucking about as big as, tall as he was wide. He was kind of questionable. Like, I could tell he could hold his liquor, but he had plenty of it, sort of thing. Yeah. And I was like, kind of whatever about it. And my manager was at the door with me, shooting the shit, because there's not fuck all else to do. And he knows the guy. So I'm like, he's like, he'll be all right. He's like, don't cause any fucking trouble while you're in here. Come and have some drinks, be good, whatever, yada, yada. So naturally, he doesn't. On the beginning of the pier, there's the entryway, and then they have the DJ stage, and they have a small little dance floor that kind of juts out to French doors that look in the ocean by all the tables on the deck there. Mm-hmm. So he's over there. I don't even know if he got a beer or whatever. He was over there. Not very long, probably, less than 30, 40 minutes or whatever. And I get somebody coming over. Oh, this guy's creeping everybody out. And lo and behold, it's him. And like I said, he's a big boy. And, I somehow got tasked with being the one that tells him he's got to go. So I'm like, hey, man, like, you had too much to drink. You got to go. And he doesn't want to go. I'm like, all right, man, you got to go. And he gets kind of feisty. And the only thing I like about having to fight drunk people is they telegraph. Really bad. Yeah. So he gives one of those rears up to go swing on me, and me being the only sober one around, kind of he missed me or whatever. And the one thing I liked about working on the pier versus some of the other places I've worked is there's just a lot of guys around. Yeah. So no matter what you get into, most nights, like I said, we have the dedicated people who deal with the drunk assholes, but some of the off nights we don't have that option, but there's always a lot of guys around. But anyway, so we get all tussled up, me, 3-4 other guys, and we end up having to lay this guy out. And there's one man for every limb on this guy. And I don't know if he was that drunk or it was
PCP.
And I don't know if it was anything like that. He wasn't quite that energetic, but he just had that like beast strength. And there's a man on every limb, a couple of them not much bigger than I am. And then the manager who ended up knowing him had to come in and wrangle him up on the top end and like kind of started choking him out, being like, you done? Yeah, you're done. Okay. And then, get the fuck out of here. Stumbled his ass along the pier. And that was one of the more hinky situations I'd been on down there.
That was in Old Orchard Beach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you said on the pier.
Yeah, that was down on the beach.
Yeah. Damn, man.
We've just been pretty lucky down at Amigos. A lot of the stuff happens outside or at the door.
Yeah.
I suplexed a guy in there though.
You suplexed a guy.
So the later end of the last season I worked on the pier, they the manager I told you about, the triangle choke, he was good with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the guy whose gym he went to, actually, weirdly enough, I had met back in the day through a detective friend of my dad, because my dad was a cop for a number of years, and doing airsoft. So I followed him up to this place out not far from my parents' house that he was going to play airsoft with his buddy at. And it turned out to be that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, Alexei.
shit.
He's a really cool dude. It was his mother's house, loved his mother to death, but at one point in this guy's career, he was the #1 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter in all of the world.
Jesus.
He could fold you like a pretzel.
Yeah.
But nicest guy you've ever met. So we ended up doing a kind of like a control and containment class one-time kind of gig through that Pier, because he knew the guy and he'd set it up. So there was this one move that he taught us that was like a hip-based sort of thing, and it just made sense and stuck. And there was this one time at the bar down the far end, and these guys were just mouthing off and starting to get wrestly, and I just like didn't really think it was as easy as he made it out to be. And I just grabbed this guy to get him away, and I did that hip. You just kind of throw your own hips into the guy and fold him over, and just dumped him over my head. And then there's that drink rail in there, and he was a lot closer to it than I was, and he got up after a moment and walked out. But no, we've been pretty lucky over at Amigos and not having too many crazy.
I feel like you're also like you're secured by your environment there too, though.
Yeah.
Like, nobody that goes there often enough, or nobody in the scene that goes there, like, is gonna let that place get fucked up, or let like any of you guys get fucked with. Too,
Yeah.
You know, like
I guess with that regular crowd, there's a lot of people that have been known to diffuse a situation or know somebody, be like, "Hey, get your guy out of here," sort of thing. That's worked out.
Yeah.
In some aspects.
Can't be Christmas every day, though.
No, that's true.
Well, dude, I think that's a great spot to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I fucking really, really appreciate you coming in. You know, I know you don't live right around the corner, but it's always fun to hang out with a homie, you know, talk about what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, talk about how we can support you. Are you allowed to give I guess you can give your spot a shout out. We've got a couple of T-shirts on the table here, but where are you? What are your hours? You know, like, how can our listeners, you know, how can we support your business?
I mean, obviously, like I said, right now we're shut down. Hopefully, in the future, provided restrictions don't prevent it, we'll be open up again. Current open date is December 8th of this year. We'll see what happens, but I'm there Wednesday through Saturday. We're open Tuesday through Sunday. So,
what's the name and address?
Amigos on 9 Dana Street in Portland. Come check us out. Get some food. Get some drinks.
They serve food.
We do have food.
They serve food.
It's actually pretty good.
Well, you heard it from the cat's mouth, man. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was a good time.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.